This is Shutout Sessions with KyTheGoalie. Today's guest is an absolute bucket getter and content beast. He was an attackman at Revere University, a viral sniper on TikTok, and the guy that proves that D3 has athletes too. Let's welcome Connor Eck. How you doing today, Connor?
I'm good, Kai. How about yourself?
I'm doing amazing. It's an amazing day when we get to have Connor Eck on the podcast. So
Absolutely.
let's just hop right into it. When did lacrosse become your sport? Like what got you hooked onto it?
Honestly, I've been playing it since I was 7 years old. So when I first picked up the stick, I just fell in love with the game, everything about it. I played other sports too, as basketball, swimming, baseball, all the sports. But when I started to get older, I really realized that, like, hey, this is the sport for me. So I ran away with it. Started playing club when I was young, and then that's when I really fell in love with the game. And then I realized that, man, maybe I could play in college when I grow up. And flash forward so many years, and now I'm done. So looking back at those memories was awesome.
Yes. Speaking of like your college days, on the first episode of Shutout Sessions with KyTheGoalie, we had Coach Ruppy on, and
Yep.
he was your coach at Revere. What made you
Yep.
commit to Revere?
That's a great question. I really like the small school environment. I toured a lot of D3 schools, and some of them really weren't for me, and I didn't really click well with some of the guys. So ultimately, I met with Coach Delanoy. Uh, Coach Ruppy ended up joining the staff a couple years later, but I really connected well with some of the guys that were on the team, and I felt like that was my home. So I ended up committing there. And to be honest, I did not know that school existed. I'm from Massachusetts. It's in New Hampshire. I only went to New Hampshire twice in my life before then, so I was in the dark about where that was. But I was there for a while, so it was a good time.
You made it to the conference championship. Well, you won the conference championship, and then you made it to the NCAA tournament. What was that experience like?
Probably one of the craziest things I've done in lacrosse in my life. I played for 5 years. I got my master's this past year, so we practiced for so long waiting for that moment, and it took us 5 years to get there, but we were so happy. It was very weird though. I can't describe like how it didn't feel real until we watched the selection show and we saw our name come up and we're like, wow, like we made it. That's official. So just playing in that tournament the whole week, it was nice just going to practice, hanging out, relaxing. We played Maine Maritime. We were pretty confident heading into that. So we weren't nervous or anything, and you just went out there guns blazing and had the time of our lives.
What's it like living like D3 lacrosse, like your juggling, classes, sports, academics, like all this stuff? Like, what is that like?
So you hear a lot about like the D1 kids that it's a full-time job for them, right? They have like pretty much their whole day is consumed by athletics, and then a majority of it also is like the student side. So I like to go in D3 just because I was able to juggle the student life with the athlete life pretty well. Most of my classes were done around one or two, and then I have practice later on in the day as well as lift. So I was able to balance that pretty well, and I really wasn't really didn't have trouble with it. Honestly, I really enjoyed my time, and I recommend those people that can't find that balance of or can find that balance of athletic and scholar, if you want to call it that. I would recommend the D3 route for sure.
So let's talk about some of your content. You're killing it on TikTok and all social media platforms. What made you start creating content?
So I initially started by not doing lacrosse content. I was doing, the meme stuff, trying to make fun of myself, doing other ways of whatever. And I had about 8,000 followers, and then I posted one viral video that blew up of me sitting in my car waiting for my friend. And then that put me up to like 20,000 followers. And then I ended up going to college, and the whole NIL thing came out. So name, image, and likeness. And I said, hey, why don't I talk about D3 sports? Because it's funny. I can make fun of myself. And, I put my school and myself on the map, just making fun of every aspect of, school and stuff like that. So, some people didn't like it that were the higher ups at my college, but, I was just pointing out the obvious, downsides of playing D3. But it was all fun, all for fun, just making fun of it. And after that, I started posting strictly lacrosse content in 2021 and branching out from there. So, other than that, I've been just rocking the Division 3 jokes for almost 5 years now.
What's your go-to formula for a viral video?
It's tough. It depends on the platform. Instagram's a lot different than TikTok, but for TikTok, I try and find a viral sound if I have a video ready. I just posted a shooting video today. If there's a viral sound, I'll use it. And, a nice creative caption on the video. And hashtags are also very important. So I do that and, tag some people if I need to, if they're in the video. And just rely on, people engaging, sharing, and reposting and all that. So
Your shooting videos go crazy. Are there any new ones that we should look forward to or get ready to watch?
I'm planning on doing a shooting video at the PLL in Boston in a couple weeks. I'm going to those games, so I think I'm going to do something there. But other than that, just the basic on the turf shooting. I did the shooting through the pipe, which that took me a while, but I did that the other day, so that was a pretty good video I did.
Yeah, so what's your shooting routine to get those nice shots? Because like you said, it takes a while to do that. How do you train for that?
So, I mean, pretty much when I would go to the turf when I was still playing, especially like last summer heading into this upcoming season, I would be just shooting at the turf, making content. I'd be like, oh, I should film this. It'd be a good video to make or whatever. So I was kind of holding myself accountable. And flashback a couple of years, that high bouncer I started doing, I started to realize that wait, like I could actually do that. It's pretty easy for me to do. So I started doing that over and over, and I was like, man, this looks pretty cool. And that's what kind of blew me up on Instagram was uploading those videos. And I'll give all the credit in the world to Chris Heimiller, a kid on my team. He taught me how to do that and showed me how to do it. So ever since then, I've been repping it out for a couple of years, and people really like it.
Mm. Yeah, just getting to the turf and just shooting shots and just practicing really helps. Like in your opinion, what does it take to be a high level attacker?
It takes a lot of things. There's different aspects of attack that a lot of kids don't realize. My job was an inside finisher. I was just a crease guy or a step down shooter, whatever you want to call me. But there's so many different positions in attack. You can be the dodger, you can be the feeder, you can be the facilitator. You can do everything differently. Like it's so weird. Everyone on my team at attack, we had one guy in the left wing that was so ball dominant and could just dodge through everybody and find the open guy, meaning me. And then our ex-attackman was able to do that, but find the skip to the middies up top. So we really worked well together, us three, for the last couple of years, and we really meshed together really well.
Finish the sentence. You can always tell someone's an attackman by.
Let me think about this. By attackman, by wearing long elbow pads. I'll give you that
Oh
answer.
yeah,
Like
you
the
got
long
you
ones,
gotta get those Michael Sowers elbow pads that start up here and they're all
and
the
go
way
all the way
down.
to your wrists. Yes, yes.
What's your go-to pregame or game day routine?
So I'm a very superstitious person. So especially heading into my freshman year, I started by the night before a game. I went to Chick-fil-A, and ever since that first game, I had 8 goals my first ever college game. Ever since then, before the night before every game, I'd go get Chick-fil-A. I'd wear the same socks for every game day. Like when I played, I would wear the same socks. Listen to the same playlist, the same songs. I drink the same C4 energy can. I would have it on a repeat of everything I would be doing. And I followed that to a T this year specifically. And I was very nervous because one of the times I broke it was before a championship game or a conference. And I was like, oh no, of course, the one time I break it's when we're going to lose in the championship. But then we ended up winning, so I was grateful about that. But yeah, I'm a very superstitious guy, and I follow the same routine over and over and over, and I did it for 5 years. So
Alright, so this next segment is sponsored by ProSlide Protective Sleeves. Go to ProSlideSports.com and use code KyTen to get 10% off your next checkout. No matter what sport you play, stay protected with ProSlide. Alright, Connor, it's time for Rip It or Skip It. I'm going to throw out a bunch of questions rapid fire, and rip it as you like it, skip it as you don't like it. Let's get right into it.
yes, sir.
Goalies who chirp after every single save.
Skip it. Terrible.
Players who wear eye black just for the vibe.
Skip it.
Coaches doing TikTok dances.
Skip it. That's heinous.
Pre-game speeches that sound more like TED Talks.
Skip it.
Pineapple on pizza.
Skip it. My God, I feel bad for saying a lot of skip it's, but skip it. That's the biggest skip it yet.
Ice baths before every practice.
Skip it. If it was after, I'd say yeah, but after, not before.
Alright, that's actually next. That's the next question after practices too.
Oh, after practice, absolutely. Yeah, that's good for recovery. Rip it.
Shooting with a weighted shaft.
Rip it. I've done that before. I like that.
Warming up with girl bop songs like Taylor Swift.
Skip it. Nope. Not my type
Lax
of music,
Bros.
unfortunately.
Lax Bros who only pass the behind the back and miss.
Skip it. If they didn't miss, I'd say rip it, but if they miss it every time, skip it.
Parents yelling shoot it every single time their kid gets the ball.
Skip it. As a club coach this year, that was brutal. Hearing that over and
Yeah.
over.
That was rip it or skip it. Sorry, I was almost doing the outro.
No, you're good, bro.
Alright, this is the off the field type of stuff. If you weren't playing lacrosse, what sport would you be playing?
Oh man, that's a good question. I'd probably say either swimming or golfing. I swam all my life competitively, but golfing wise, I picked it up when I was 18 and I've been playing it for 5 years, so I love it. So either swimming or golf.
What's something most people don't know about you but should?
Oh man. I'm Australian. That's a good one. My dad's Australian, so I'm technically 50% Australian.
Oh, I didn't even know that, and I'm the
Yeah,
one
see,
doing the research.
I don't post about it, but yeah, that's something people should know. It's a pretty cool fact about me.
Well, you built a strong following. Where do you want to take all this media stuff? What's the long-term goal?
Continue to grow. Obviously, I think that's every, content creator's goal and plan for the future. Lacrosse, I don't think it'll be the whole brand forever. Maybe I'll move on from it eventually, but for now I like posting it. It gets me some attention and, I can highlight some D3 stuff. So obviously just gonna figure it out. I'm not gonna pinpoint where I'm gonna be in the future. But some comedy stuff. Obviously, I've been doing more skit related content as well, so that's been doing pretty well. So maybe that down the line.
All right, Connor. Last question. You have any piece of advice for young players or creators that want to play in college and grow their brand like you've done?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just post. It's scary to hit that post button because, especially when I started, I was very embarrassed about posting stuff like that. But, I tell that to people all the time now, just post. Don't be scared of like it not blowing up, it not getting views or anything. Like everyone starts small and then you can eventually blow up, if you get a good audience around you. So just keep posting, don't be scared to hit that post button. And, it took me so far, it can take anybody else so far. So.
All right, Connor. Thank you so much for coming on Shutout Sessions with KyTheGoalie. Can you tell people where they can find you?
Yeah, for sure. I'm at Division 3 Hero on Instagram and on TikTok. It's just Connor Eck.
All right. This was Shutout Sessions with KyTheGoalie. You can now listen to Shutout Sessions with KyTheGoalie on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and you can follow me at KyTheGoalie on all social media platforms. This is KyTheGoalie out.